Hi, sixth grade. 7-6 is our lesson today, subtracting mixed numbers. So it's going to be pretty similar to yesterday's work in this setup, but of course we're subtracting instead of adding. So let's take a look at our first example question. It's by the first orange arrow on page 232. It says 7 and 7/12 minus 3 and 5/12. Okay, so as we start out with this one, you'll notice we've already got common denominators. You know that when we're adding, subtracting, we need those. So we're good here with 12, so that's great, makes it easy for us. And then we just do our subtraction. 7 minus 5 in the numerator side of things is 2. And then whole number 7 minus 3 is 4. Hopefully you notice right away that you need to simplify. You're going to divide by 2 here and divide by 2 here. Remember, just like yesterday, we need to remember to bring over our whole number. So bring over that 4 whole number, then we simplify here. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 12 divided by 2 is 6, so 4 and 1/6 is your answer. So that's sort of the easy side of things because you've already got common denominator. Stepping it up a little bit, we go to the second orange arrow. 8 and 5/6. Sort of separate that here. Minus 4 and 3/4. All right, so you'll notice we don't have common denominators here, so we've got to work that out. So remember, again, bring over those whole numbers. Do not drop those whole numbers. And then we can get to our common denominators. So you could just multiply 6 times 4 and get a common denominator. Obviously, when you multiply those two numbers together, they have those numbers in common. Excuse me. Whew. You could also look at that and realize that 6 and 4 are both factors of 12. So let's go ahead and use 12s. So then making our equivalents, 6 times 2 would get us to 12. So we multiply by 2. 5 times 2 is 10. 4 times 3 is 12. So we'll multiply by 3 up here, and that is 9. Now we can do our work just like we did up here. We're keeping 12s as our denominator. Hopefully you can see down this far. 10 minus 9 is 1, and then 8 minus 4 is 4. And so we've already got that simplified. We're all set there with our answer of 4 and 1/12. All right, let me do some erasing very quickly, and then we'll get to the third orange arrow, which presents another type of subtraction problem that's really important for us to take a look at. So it shows you for the third orange arrow 6 and 1/4 minus 4 and 3/4. Okay, so this looks good at first glance because you've got common denominators. Here's the problem. You've got 1 minus 3, and we're not going to be going into negative numbers, so that's not going to work out for us. So we have to make a big adjustment here, and I will explain this so that hopefully it makes sense to you. So we need some more fourths to subtract from, right? In a way, we need to borrow just like you would when you're subtracting. So we're going to borrow from this 6 and we're going to make it a 5. And normally when we do that, we bring one whole over, right? So one whole isn't just going to be 1 added to this and make it 2/4. That doesn't work because that's not really bringing over one whole. One whole in terms of force is 4/4, right? So we're going to combine 4/4 plus 1/4 to make 5/4 here. So we took 1 away from here, made that a 5. We're bringing the 1 over to here with the 1/4. So it would be like 1 and 1/4. The way that we can write that is 5/4. We're keeping the 4 and 3/4 because now we've got common denominators and we've got something to subtract from. So keeping our fourths, 5 minus 3 is 2. 5 minus 4 is 1. We need to simplify. Dividing by 2. Remember to bring over that whole number. This is 1 and this is 2. Okay, let's look at another example of that because I know this is a little complicated. Looking at page 233, I believe that number 8. You've got some odds to do so we can use some evens as some practice problems. I think that number 8 will help us out. So number 8 is 13. that wrong again. Sorry. Number 8, I'm getting ahead of myself, is 13 and 1/6 minus 9 and 3/4. Okay, so we need common denominators here. We've got 6 and 4. Again, we can use 12ths as our common denominator. Bring over your whole numbers, and then we'll go for 12ths as our common denominator. All right, this is times 2, so that's times 2, so that's 2. This is times 3, so that's times 3, and that's 9. All right, again, we're presented with a situation where we would have 2 minus 9, and that's not going to work out for us as far as subtraction goes. If it was addition, it would be fine. Subtraction, we can't do. So we've got to change it over. We're going to borrow 1 from the 13. Of course, when you do that, you end up with a 12. And then you bring the 1 over. It would be 1 and 2/12, but that's not how we write it. We've already got a whole number here. We're going to write it as, if you have 1 and 2/12, you can also see this as the 1 is 12/12 plus the 2/12, and that makes 14/12. Okay, so though it is improper, we're going to write it because then we'll be able to subtract from it. So another quick way to see that, and if this confuses you, then just sort of erase that little part from your brain. But a quick trick to do that is you can actually add the denominator and the numerator to get your new numerator. Okay, and then again, we're subtracting this number 9 and 9/12 from it. So, of course, we keep our 12ths. 14 minus 9 is 5. 12 minus 9 is 3. So our final answer is 3 and 5/12. All right, let's look at, here's another one. Take a look at number 14. 7 and 3/5 minus 4. Okay, interesting because you don't have a fractional part here. So it's as if this were 0/5, right? If it were 0/5, then 3/5 minus 0/5 is 3/5. You could also just see it as nothing being there, and so you're subtracting 0 and just bring down your 3/5. And then of course 7 minus 4 is 3. Okay, a couple more practice problems just to keep us going here and get us in a routine. Let's jump to number 6, which is 11 and 5/7 minus 9 and 6/7. Sort of a sloppy 9 there. All right, again, we've got to do some borrowing, right? Because we can't do 5/7 minus 6/7. So we're going to borrow from the 11 and make it a 10. Then we're going to bring that 1 over. So that 1 could be seen as 7/7, right? Plus our 5/7. And now that gives us 12 over 7. So we'll put that 12 over 7 here. And we're just bringing over our 9 and 6/7 there. And now we can subtract. We keep our 7ths. 12 minus 6 is 6, and 10 minus 9 is 1. So 1 and 6/7. All right, so these are the types of problems that you will see. Please just subtract. Do not worry about estimating. So you've got problems 1 to 9 odd on page 233. And then you've got workbook page 82, numbers 1 through 8. Email me if you've got questions. I'm happy to help. Have a great day.